Welcome back to another episode of your Did You Hustle News. As always, I'm Wade Teamer. Yeah, the backdrop is a bit different in this video. I am outside of the office today. Needed some nature. When you're spending the majority of your day researching technologies, data analytics, artificial intelligence, futuristic payment rails, geopolitical politics, sometimes you just gotta come outside where it's quiet, you know? However, I'm still in the mental space of work. That is why in this video, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. More specifically, fetch artificial intelligence. Now, because we're outside, we're gonna be subjected to some background noise. Hopefully the microphone that I bought was worth the money that I paid for it. So, without further ado, let's get into Fetch AI, because the technology is impressive, guys. And you know what happens when I get impressed, that's where the money's going. But let me tell you why I'm impressed, okay? Starting with, what is Fetch AI? Fetch, and this is quoted directly from their site, Fetch is building an open access, tokenized, decentralized machine learning network to enable smart infrastructure built around a decentralized digital economy. So you can think of Fetch as being the layer within the layer that is Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is a global network of connected devices. Fetch AI is the actual intelligence that connects the devices. So, much like with Render and the metaverse and your future blockchain games, Render's technology is focused on GPU processing, the same GPU processing that is required to create these games, these metaverses and digital worlds. In the case of Fetch AI, they serve the same function, but in the IoT field, all right? Now, I got some more stats for you that really convinced me, okay? Once I did the digging, because I did a lot of digging, all right? It doesn't just begin at Fetch. You get to looking into artificial intelligence, and there's a rabbit hole about this big that you'll fall down into it. But one thing I did discover when I was doing my research is that one of Fetch AI's biggest investors is a company by the name of Blockwall. Now, Blockwall is a German regulated BaFin, German regulated financial entity. That means that the special funds that came into the crypto space last week, their biggest investor is a German financial institution. German financial institutions have just been allowed to allocate 20% of their funds to digital assets, blockchain technology. Fetch AI is literally standing at the front door. We'll be the first in line, next to IOTA, and we've seen HBAR receive some positive performance from those funds as well as Solana. But Fetch AI, unlike Solana and these other projects, is literally sitting in the backyard. They're sitting in Germany's backyard. Now, another interesting statistic, I was doing some market research. Blockchain AI, that industry, I'll just say, by 2026, we're looking at $1 billion industry. $1 billion industry. Now, this market research that I got information from is sourced from very reputable people. They do these market research reports all the time. They've been doing them for the last 20 years. So if they're putting the numbers together and they're seeing the projections and what's potentially going to play out, well, the game here is to follow the money. The money's going towards Fetch AI. The money is going towards blockchain artificial intelligence entirely. All right, now another project that we need to pay attention to that was also on this list is SingularityNet. They focus on artificial intelligence as well, but when I did my research, Fetch had more of a pull to me. Okay, now when it comes to the use cases, and this is what really drew me into Fetch AI. VeChain has supply chain technology, XRP does payments, Ethereum does DeFi, Bitcoin does it all. But Fetch AI has specific industry-driven use cases. These industries include healthcare, automotive, finance, smart cities, of course, Internet of Things, so forth and so on. They literally, if you check out their YouTube channel, they show you how their DeFi agents or digital agents is what they use in their technology. They show you how these DeFi agents, these artificial agents, can interact with each other across a broad range of networks. For example, the data that is used to decide where a smart city needs to be, Fetch AI. The data that Uber or other delivery services will use to figure out where customers are and what they need and how to get it there faster, is Fetch AI. Okay? Another note here. The main driving force behind why the blockchain AI industry is set to be a billion-dollar industry in a few short years is government contracts. We already know, we've been paying attention to the government all year on this channel, and they are looking to do the following: recreate infrastructure, which is using artificial intelligence, transportation, energy, finance. All of the things are lining up with what Fetch AI specializes in. Now, I was kind of shocked when I did do some digging on YouTube, and there aren't many people that are talking about Fetch AI as of yet. There was one video, however, that really broke this down to me and really convinced me to bring this to you. Now, I'm gonna leave you guys with an interview from the CEO. His name is Human Sheikh. Now, he's gonna give you the rundown of what Fetch AI is aiming to do, how they're gonna do it, and potentially how we can profit from it.
Fetch AI is a Cambridge-based artificial intelligence company building an open access, open source, tokenized, decentralized machine learning network. So here to explain a little bit more about what Fetch AI is doing is Humayun Sheikh, the CEO. So great to have you back. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Jane. It's always a pleasure to be speaking to you, and thank you for inviting me to talk about what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a very cool and interesting company. So why don't, for people that maybe missed the first interview, why don't you give us an overview of what Fetch AI is doing?
Sure. Fetch AI is building solutions which normal people, small businesses, big businesses can deploy very easily. It's open source, and it's a lot easier to deploy. You don't need very specific skill sets to do it. We are creating all the tools which you need for a decentralized AI, so that you're not beholden to big corporates. You can control your data, you can control your own machine learning, but you can work collectively with other parties and do complex machine learning and AI tasks a lot easier than what it is today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember when we first talked, I thought how cool it was that this would be a good solution for maybe a small business that doesn't want to, hire a big AI firm or have their own AI department, and they get to control their data, which is something that people, I feel like, are getting more concerned about.
Absolutely. And I think what needs to be understood is AI is not going to be a choice. AI is not going to be an option. AI is going to be mandatory. So you will need to do machine learning and AI tasks if you want to survive now.
Tell me about the collective learning framework. What is that, and how can businesses benefit from that?
Right. As the name suggests, it's about collectively learning of different algorithms and machine learning algorithms and AI. So the purpose of collective learning is to enable businesses, people, different entities to actually learn from data, which is sitting in different places, and do a collective learning process whereby everybody benefits from everybody's data without actually sharing the data. So, for example, if you look at what's been happening with COVID-19 and you wanted to analyze uh, X-rays of lungs, for example, and that's by the way, a demonstration we've recently done. You could learn from each other's data sets without sharing the data and improve very quickly the detection of COVID-19, for example, or any problem symptoms in the lungs. It's a very interesting space we're in. We have a whole world who needs to collaborate to do things, and but we are quite siloed in terms of where the data sits. So this unlocks all of that. So you don't need to move the data around. You make your algorithms learn from wherever the data is, and then collaborate with everybody.
Okay, very interesting, and could be a real problem solver. So, what kind of real world applications is this technology being applied to right now?
You could apply it to many different things, but I think it's quite interesting where the most impact is coming from. So if you look at healthcare, for example, you have different hospitals. They don't. There is a huge issue about the customers' privacy, clients or patients' privacy, and if you could actually remove that barrier, and you could actually have a system whereby all the hospitals can sign up to.
Mhm. Okay, and then finally, come on, just what's next? Like, what are your next steps for Fetch AI?
We have quite a bit of an ambition. We want to democratize and the AI, and we want to democratize all the tools which come for AI and should be able to use. So we are launching different initiatives in different sectors. Healthcare is one. You could similarly apply collective learning into, for example, banking, where you could detect fraud. You could learn from all the transactions and make sure that every stakeholder can benefit from it. We're also looking into mobility, where we're enabling people to deploy their own mobility solutions rather than looking at big conglomerates who can actually deliver the service. So we're making creating and delivering service a lot easier for smaller businesses and individuals.
Now, are you looking for potential collaborators on this? And if so, how would somebody get in touch with you about that?
So we're always looking for collaborators because this is a decentralized project and it's a huge initiative. And we want small businesses, we want individuals to get in touch with us to deploy their own solution. We will provide them all the toolkits. We'll provide them all the tools necessary to build solutions on the platform. We have all channels. We have Slack, developer Slack channel. We have commercial Slack channels. We have Telegram. We have presence on the website. You can contact us via email. There's any way you feel like we have all of that on our website, so you could easily get in touch.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update, Hermione. It's great to see you again. Always interesting.
It's been a pleasure.